So with the upcoming DAZN boxing event featuring Tommy Fury versus KSI and Logan Paul versus Dylan Dennis, YouTube boxing has seen a resurgence in popularity, and rightfully so. I mean, 3 of the names in this upcoming boxing event, Logan Paul, Jake Paul, and KSI, are all big time YouTubers. And YouTube boxing just as a concept is very interesting. I mean, think about it. When 2 YouTubers have a beef and they tired of going back and forth through videos and tweets and Instagram DMs and whatever else, they just say, fuck it, let's put on some gloves, let's get in the ring, and let's settle this like men, mano y mano. I think it's a very interesting way to handle a beef. It brings endless entertainment to the internet. It makes the overall world of boxing a lot more interesting. Plus, I can respect 2 dudes who say, you know what, let's put on some gloves and let's fight this out. That being said, the problem I have with YouTube boxing is that the biggest names in YouTube boxing think they deserve a lot more respect than they do. Now, I'm obviously talking about Logan Paul, Jake Paul, and KSI, the 3 biggest names in YouTube boxing. They basically the ones who pioneered this. They started all this shit. 3 guys who want to be respected as boxers, but then when you really sit back, analyze, and take a look at their resumes, you really gotta wonder, why do they think they deserve to be respected as boxers? For example, let's start off with Logan Paul. Now, Logan Paul, you know, he's pretty excited for his upcoming boxing match, and you know, he probably really ready to put them gloves on because it's getting pretty personal for him at this point. But besides that, you know, he's ready to get back in the conversation.
I'm gonna be back in the conversation.
Whatever the fuck that means. But do you guys remember that big argument he had with Jake Paul on Impulsive when they both argued back and forth who was the better boxer between them? And Logan said the only reason people fight Jake is because Jake is an easier fight and that there are people out there just actively ducking Logan.
I'm tired of not being picked because you're an easier fight. People, motherfuckers are avoiding me. They are avoiding me or picking someone else, and that's obnoxious.
Which, let's be real, that's absolute bullshit. Because no one out here is avoiding Logan, trying to hide from him because he's a super amazing, powerful boxer. And like, I really want to know what the fuck makes him think that. I mean, bro hasn't fought in almost 2 years, and he's only had 3 total fights. 2 out of these 3 fights were exhibitions, not even real fights. And the one real fight that counted, he lost. So he 0-1. He got an 0-1 record. Who would be avoiding somebody that's 0-1? Also, 2 out of these 3 fights were against KSI, a YouTuber, and the other one was against Floyd Mayweather. Now, I know what you might be thinking. Well, Dame, it is Floyd Mayweather, one of the greatest boxers of all time. Surely Logan deserves some type of respect for that, right? And you would be right. I can respect somebody that has the guts to go out there and get in the ring with Floyd. But the problem isn't the fact that he did it, it's how he describes the fight with Floyd.
Went toe-to-toe 8 rounds with the greatest boxer of all time. But the fact is, I went toe-to-toe for 8 rounds with the greatest boxer of all time.
This dude is so delusional that he honestly thinks he went toe-to-toe with Floyd Mayweather, which is just not true, because anybody who actually watched that fight, or at least seen highlights, would know that Floyd was just basically toying with him that entire time. And there was even times throughout the fight where it looked like Floyd had knocked Logan out and just held him up to keep the fight going. Plus, there was a clip where Logan straight up said, "Chill, Floyd, it's just an exhibition." Then there's Jake Paul, with a fighting record of 7-1 and 4 knockouts. And out of the 3 of them, Jake is probably the closest to being an actual boxer, and he actually has pretty decent boxing skills. But the problem isn't the fact that Jake can't box, or that he's not willing to fight people, or that he's inactive or whatever. The problem is the opponents that Jake chooses to fight. For his first couple of matches, he fought 2 YouTubers. One was this guy named Deji, who was KSI's younger brother, and another was this guy named Anderson Gibb, which is okay, you know, it's YouTube boxing, so he started off fighting YouTubers, right? No big deal. But after that, most of Jake's opponents have been old, retired MMA fighters. And Nate Robinson, who was just a fucking embarrassment. But after Nate went night-night, he fought Ben Askren, who at the time was 36 years old and was known for his wrestling ability. He was never known in UFC for being a big-time striker. He was always known as a wrestler. So no wonder he knocked him out. And then there were the 2 Tyron Woodley fights. Now, don't get me wrong. Tyron Woodley was a pretty decent striker in the UFC. But again, his biggest asset was his wrestling. And he's also retired. And let's not forget his fight against Anderson Silva, who was an amazing striker in the UFC, but was 47 years old at the time of their fight. I mean, he fight people that's damn near 50. Then there was his recent win against Nate Diaz, who is 38 years old and retired. So basically, all of Jake's wins have been against either YouTubers with little to no boxing experience or MMA grapplers and wrestlers. And sure, Anderson Silva was a great striker in the UFC, but we all know damn well that being a good striker in the UFC does not just translate over to boxing. We've all seen them try to do that and it never worked. And then the time Jake fought an actual boxer in Tommy Fury, he fucking lost! But now we have last but not least, KSI, who besides beating Logan Paul, who we have established as a novice boxer at best, has beaten 3 other people. One was this rapper named Swarms, who's actually good friends with KSI and they even made some music together. But the problem with Swarms is that Swarms had basically 0 boxing experience. He was thrown in the fight at the very last minute because the original fighter backed out. And you can clearly see that when you watch the fight. Like, not only does it look like he has no boxing experience, it looked like he don't even go to the gym. Like, it looked like he don't even work out. Then there was Luis Alcaraz, who has only fought YouTubers. And then there was FaZe Temper, a Call of Duty streamer with little to no boxing experience. And then you cannot forget his fight against Joe Fournier, which didn't count. It was concluded in no contest because KSI knocked him out with his fucking elbow. So again, I ask, why do these guys think they deserve so much respect as boxers when they haven't proven to the world why they deserve that respect? And why do they talk so much shit as if they're amazing boxers? I mean, most of them have only fought either YouTubers or old fighters past their prime, basically just fighting people with no boxing experience for real, or they're just fighting in matches that don't count like Logan, or they're knocking people out by breaking the fucking rules. Like, I don't understand. Bro, YouTube boxing as its separate entity is actually pretty interesting. Seeing 2 people who have really no boxing experience settling a beef through boxing was actually pretty entertaining to see. But then you got people like KSI and the Paul brothers thinking that they so good because they knocking out people who have just as much boxing experience as them and they don't have much. Plus, no one's gonna respect them as real boxers anyway because they never had to truly earn their stripes as boxers. I mean, most big time boxers, sure, they might have fighting records of 30-0, 27-0, whatever, but you don't know how many amateur fights they fought, how much work it took them to get to this level of being one of the top boxers on the planet. I mean, we could take Floyd for example. He's 50-0 in his professional career. He had 90 amateur fights before that. So that's a total of what, 140 fights that count? Forget all the sparring, all the training. They didn't really have to earn anything to get to that level. And if they was just doing it just for money and entertainment, that's cool. But it's like you fighting people that's 50 years old, past their prime, people who never really boxed like that, and then you think you the greatest now? Like, I don't understand. But let me know what y'all think about this in the comments. But if you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit a like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell. So I'll post notifications, share this video on our road to 1,500 subscribers. Like and sub so we can get there. Thank you all for your support. Thank you for watching this video. Thank you to everybody that's been subscribing. And I'm out though. Catch you guys next time.